Welcome to Toussaint Warrior Trials. My name is Ade Toussaint Richardson, your host, and I'm here with Castulo Castro, aka Cas. Hi, Cas.
Hi, Ade. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great.
Yeah, I,
Yes.
s- I see the pyramids behind you.
Oh, yeah. It catches my eye seeing the pyramid between the moon and the sun, which always helps me like reflect on yoga, hatha yoga, because hatha means sun and moon. So it's
Hmm.
always been very curious with the pyramids of the Egyptians. Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if the Egyptians did yoga. Like, I wonder where that comes from.
Me too, because if you see all those kings and those images, you see that they have a serpent coming out of their third eye. And, yoga
Yeah,
reflects to the third eye opening and the, awakening of the higher consciousness. So it must
yeah,
be there somewhere.
yeah. I hear a lot about the serpent in relation to energy. I mean, is that the reference of like Kundalini energy,
Yes,
the dormant serpent that awakens and runs up the spine?
exactly, exactly. Actually, we all have that energy coiled up at the base of the spine and the Muladhara chakra, which is our root chakra. And it awakens through certain breathing techniques, through meditation, and through yoga postures. And when that energy uncoils, it starts boosting up the other chakras. And the idea is that when it reaches the crown, it connects to Shiva, which Shiva means higher consciousness. It's the masculine aspect of the universe connected to the female aspect. So Shiva, Shakti, like consume like a matrimony. And that's when the person wakens. And you see those
Ah,
serpent
yeah,
energies of the doctor's medical. You see two snakes going up. They're going from the
yeah.
base and it goes to the crown. So that's the journey, the spiritual journey. They even said that, I come from a Christian background. They said that Jesus Christ also went to Egypt and to the pyramids and learned through great teachers of of that past of Egypt,
Oh, wow, that's
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah, there's a book
Yeah,
called, yeah. Go ahead. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
The Shiva Shakti, the energy, and well, the Shakti is the energy force, and Shiva is,
Yeah.
I guess, that awareness, like a energy awareness. And to think that they were aware of this back when the those pyramids, and I mean we don't even really know how those pyramids
Yeah.
came to be. So
Yeah, how they
it
came to be exactly.
yeah.
It's another way of saying the yin and the yang energies that you see,
Yeah.
the symbols of the little two fish, the black and the white fish,
Yeah.
the yin and yang. I have them like a little ball here that has a
Ah,
yin and yang, Yeah.
yeah, and they each have a little
A
dot
little
of
dot.
the
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we have a feminine as man, we have a feminine aspect, and the women have a masculine aspect within them. That's
Yeah.
part of our balance. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kaz, the reason I heard about you through my mom. My mom takes one of your classes. I'm going to read a little bit of your bio here on
Okay.
Senior Planet. Um, from anywhere from 400 to 700 older adults across the nation, morning stretch with Cas Castro is like their cup of coffee. There's no better way to start the day. We spoke with Cas, who is undoubtedly one of the most familiar faces at Senior Planet from AARP. In addition to being one of our most recognized trainers by Senior Planet supporters. And they go on to ask some questions like a little bit of they're talking about the morning stretch and what led you to become a fitness instructor, and you took kung fu and martial arts, and maybe we'll get into a little bit of that. Um, what draws you to being a teacher? And I just wanted to read one of the comments here. Kaz is, this is a comment from someone who's taking your classes. Kaz is a great teacher. Did not know why he was playing disco until I learned he was a little older than me. It's funny. I thought I was older than him. LOL. He looks very young. Kaz is from my old neighborhood in Far Rockaway. Sadly, we never met until I started taking the classes online. Would have enjoyed being one of his students at a younger age. I enjoy his Fit Fusion class and have done a little Tai Chi also with him. He really shares, he really cares about people and leads by example. Thank you, Cass. There's a bunch of comments like that. And
That's a
uh,
homeboy. That's Ed. His name is Ed.
yeah, that's Ed. So my mom, when my mom sometimes she would come here and watch the kids, or when I'd visit her, and 10 o'clock, oh, I gotta go. I have class with Kaz. And I always listen to, I get the chance to listen to the class. I actually did one of the classes. I
Oh,
actually
really?
participated in one of the classes as well. And, I think your energy could be felt. I felt your energy, and how you attracted, uh, everyone to this class, and people are excited to go. And it's also providing, I was talking to a friend of mine about this, such a great service for the community, because seniors are often overlooked. They're the group of people that we tend to forget about and like push out of our mind, send them to homes and things like that. And where it really
Yeah, put them to the side.
exactly,
Mm.
especially here in the West. In certain other cultures, it's the opposite, and they really value the seniors and the elderly. So I know we're going to get into some things about your own personal past, but yeah, talk a little bit about what inspires you to do the work that you do.
Oh, well, maybe I would have to go back to when I was like 4 years old.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was fate, but when I moved to New York City in 1967, remember living in Flushing, I was always watching the Jack LaLanne show. And I learned to count because he used to count the exercises. 1, 2, 3, 4. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. It was a black and white. That was interesting, him doing exercise, and I was only a little kid, 4 or 5 years old. But later on, as time went by, I was always a physical kid. I always liked anything that had to do with combat. Not that I was a violent kid, but I liked anything that would be a challenge, arm wrestling, wrestling, but not violence like I wanted to beat somebody up. Unfortunately, when I was a little boy in elementary school, I got bullied a lot. And that also helped me turn to get confidence in learning martial arts as I became a young teenager. Luckily, I don't know if I have an angel with me, but no, I remember in fourth and fifth grade, third, fourth grade, I was bullied a lot. And this actually it was second, third, and fourth grade. And not all the time, but occasionally after school. And this Dominican kid came and immigrated. He didn't know how to speak English. So I was like 7, 8 years old, and I was his translator. And anytime he needed to tell the teacher something, I'll tell the teacher and vice versa. And one day he saw that these kids were picking on me. He defended me. He protected me. He became my bodyguard. He didn't let nobody touch me because
Yeah.
he was a good fighter. He's a little bigger than me, but he was a good fighter. So yeah, that's how things started. And I guess God is watching out for me and sent me that little angel, Henry. I remember his name, Henry. Unfortunately, when we turned 9, he had an accident. He was a very mischief kid. He went into the bay, Jamaica Bay. He dived into the water and drowned.
Oh, wow.
That was my first presence with death, seeing my little friend in the funeral hall.
Mm.
And yeah, and then I had a dream with him after his death. He told me, Castulo, to reach heaven, you have to pray a lot. That's all I remember. He said, you have to pray a lot and you'll go to heaven and all that. And, because I was raised in a Catholic background back then. So that was my experience as a little boy in elementary school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after he died, you know what? I got like this little boost of confidence. I wasn't afraid anymore as I used to be, letting myself get intimidated by other kids' words or
Mm.
threats.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
kind of confront, I don't know if his spirit or his essence gave me that boost. While he was in Earth, he was my protector, physically protecting me all the time. But when he passed away, that fear kind of went away, and I don't know if part of his spirit, came to me. You know,
Yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
if we
So,
we believe in that, but I felt that a shift. There was a shift, a total shift after his death.
yeah. So there was a
hmm
shift in this um fear of being bullied or, you know, yeah.
And my
And
mom also didn't help because she always said, "Don't get into a fight. Don't fight. Don't fight. Don't ever." Contrary to Henry, his father said, "You come home crying, I'm gonna beat you up worse." In
yeah.
that time, so he had to learn to fight so he wouldn't get it beat up. The old schools. Now
Yeah.
parents don't hit the kids, but old school we were hit. That was part of our
Yeah.
punishment. I didn't grow up with psychological problems because I got, whatever my mom did I deserved it. I didn't feel, oh, she abused, something like that.
Yeah. And so was it around that time that, you talk about what was his name? The fitness person
Jack LaLanne,
yeah, Jack Lalanne. I
yeah,
mean,
the God,
was he the guy that was swimming in like the river, like pulling
the Bay,
tugboats?
San Francisco Bay. He pulled tugboats,
Yeah.
handcuffed and shackled.
Yeah. And he was in really good shape for like a good deal of
Yeah,
his life. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He held the world record of 1,000 push-ups back then in 20 minutes.
Oh
A
wow.
thousand push-ups.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah.
And so that was your sort of um
Insight, like a little insight there. Yeah.
yeah. And that's where the inspiration for physical being physical and was there like a beginning of because when we're physical there's this being in the body, and I feel like that's like, did you find any, I mean, at the young age, maybe there was no, you might not have been conscious of this, but did you find that it was something that helped with emotions or helped with, it just helped you to stay sort of even keel?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. But it's funny, Ade, that I I grew up. I was a lonely boy. I lived only with my mom. I do have siblings, but we didn't grow up together. Actually, my mom was my grandma. So I grew up, and my best friends were my toys, GI Joes, toy soldiers, guns. I love guns. And as I grew and as an adult, my mom was afraid that I liked guns too much that I might buy one when I was an adult. Never bought a gun ever in my life or a weapon. And I did do a lot of playing, fighting with my toys. Everything had to do with fighting. GI Joe, Kung Fu Grip, Action Jackson, all those toys back in the 70s. I would play with my friends. It was all, but it was never like a battle of anger or anything, just enjoying to play. I don't know how to explain that. Because, oh, I beat you, but there was not like, I killed you. No, I beat you. But we never thought about killing or something like that. It was
Yeah.
different. It was different.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything had to do with battle. When I wrestled or played with my friends, it was about winning, but not like really being egocentric and say, "Oh, I beat you. I'm stronger. I'm tougher than you," or something. It's just I
Yeah.
didn't take it to that level. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, my kids play like that as well. They could sometimes they get a little rough, but they're always laughing and enjoying themselves. And I think it's a really healthy thing to do. Animals do it, all species. You see the
Yes.
squirrels running around
Uh,
and
how old are your kids?
I have a 8-year-old, 12-year-old, and 24. So like
Wow.
all ranges.
Ah, but you
Yeah.
look very young for a 24-year-old. Very
Yeah,
young.
I'm 46. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay. That's
you
awesome.
have kids, right?
Yes, my oldest son, Christian, will be 40 in November.
Okay.
He will
Wow.
be 40. Uh,
Yeah.
40. Yeah. When he was born, I was 21. And I have another son, he's 36. And I have a daughter who's 25 who lives in Brooklyn, in Bushwick.
Yeah.
So those are my three, but they're adults.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
a
Uh-huh.
video on your Instagram with your daughter. I think you were doing I think it was a meditation or
Yeah.
breath work or something like that.
Yeah, she came to visit me here in Massachusetts and we did like a couple of videos together in the morning. Yeah.
Oh,
She
that's
does
great.
yoga, she does meditation,
Yeah.
she's very into all that. Well, I inspired them. They've always saw their dad exercising, meditating, breathing. All of them know about that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they followed a little bit.
Yeah, so Kaz, a little bit of what we do here on this show is I'm reach out to and have conversations with people who have gone through different struggles. I mean, we've all gone through I don't think you're on this planet and haven't gone through something,
Yeah.
and some of the steps and things that tools that they've used to overcome these things or to come into harmony with some of these things might be another way to put it. And I know that you have you've gone through your own trials and tribulations like the rest of us and so I wanted to go into a little bit of that. And I know you talked about your childhood. We can start there, or maybe you talked about also losing your wife, your ex-wife. I think it was after 20 years of marriage. And
Yeah, after 20 years of marriage. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but we were already unfortunately we went our separate ways. We had certain discrepancies when we
Mhm.
reached 20 our 20th anniversary and under her decision and after that separation 3 years later she got ill in her stomach and she got cancer in her stomach. Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was a big loss for my daughter because they were very close and she passed away in 2021. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's pretty tragic. They're very young. She was 47.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, is it something that were you weren't together with her at that time, or
No, no.
um were you able to, was she allowing you to be there for her or
No, we were kind of our different ways. She started
Mhm.
another relationship. I got married again. Um, I got married with an Asian woman who's an angel from God who came and saved me. Her name is
Yeah.
Candy. So I've been married for 6 years already with her.
Oh,
But
okay.
but we still had like a sort of friendship. We didn't talk that much, but then after she got ill, I went to see her at the hospital and try to give her some Reiki. I do Reiki, if you're familiar with that.
Yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and then after that, she passed away. It was when COVID was still very powerful in
Mhm.
Yeah.
And at that time, what was the how did you react to it internally?
Internally, I was like blasted away. I couldn't believe that she had gotten a disease like cancer because she was also a yoga instructor. She was very mindful of what she was eating and exercising. She was very inspired when we met because she saw how dedicated I was to physical exercise, doing kung
Mhm.
fu. She was my kung fu student also.
Oh,
So she
wow.
practiced kung fu and
Yeah.
and did tai chi. I like to jog. And she saw how much I love my kids because my first two boys, they are from my first marriage.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been married 3 times. I
Yeah.
hope this is the last one. Yeah, yeah. I got married very young.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But you know how they say women are meant to be loved, not understood.
Yeah, 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 I think that's
That's a
true.
safe way to say. Yeah, yeah. It still struck me. I never expected her to, pass away
Yeah.
such an early age because she had a family of long, her grandparents lived to 100 years old. So I always thought that we would probably reach an elderly age or something like that, and then, but I think it was more emotional. She had so many problems, emotional that she couldn't really transmute. And
Mm.
sometimes we keep things inside and thoughts can turn into poison and that can turn into a tumor. I believe in all that psychosomatic effect of our minds. Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. Deepak Chopra talks a lot about that, and also the work of Dr. Gabor Mate talks about that,
Yes,
that connection and how,
that connection,
yeah.
exactly. And believe it or not, the emotions like anger affects the liver and the gallbladder, and
Hmm.
fear affects kidneys, and it affects all the organs in different
Yeah.
ways. How much you feed on that emotion, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. And then
So,
you'll see somebody who smokes, who drinks,
yeah.
and lives to 107 years old.
Yeah.
So then you say, wow, then cigarettes or drinking is not the killer. What is the killer? Because I know a friend, his mom passed away just 3 days ago, 107 years old.
Wow.
And she smoked and she drank. She liked to have her drinks.
Yeah.
But she was always
Yeah.
happy. She was always laughing. Laughter is important.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it
I
it
think
makes
that's,
you like wonder, you're taking care of your body and what happened?
and what sort of, I mean, the thing is, sometimes I think when we get triggered and we feel some of these difficult emotions, and it's not only the negative thoughts that come up, but it's also uh, the feeling in the body. A-
Yes.
and I know a lot of people have a hard time with that because it really feels like you don't have control over it, and that you're
Hmm.
in danger.
Hmm. Just like the robot in Lost in Space, danger, danger,
Yeah.
yeah, there's a signal. I always listen to those signals emotionally. I don't let them get deep down, because sometimes life can be very tough, you got all these trials like a roller coaster. You can,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
And what are some of the coping mechanisms that you have, that, let's say you do feel this trigger, maybe it's the feeling of loss, or whatever it is, or some sort of insecurity, or whatever may come up, anger.
Well, when I returned to New York City in 2013, and I started because I lived here until I was a teenager. I left New York in 1980, and I was 17 years old. And of course, back then, my mom, I didn't work. I was still in high school, and I know I occasionally did some gigs, but it wasn't like working to pay my rent or pay my taxes or anything like that. When I come back as an adult and I'm coming back with a family, the life kind of got very tough and it wasn't easy. Even though I spoke English, I had to work with other immigrants, other Spanish immigrants, and they were kind of
Mhm.
racist
Yeah.
with me. Even though we were like considered Latinos, they gave me a hard time. And like the end of 2013, 2014, and almost 2015, I was under a slight depression. I felt very sad. And as a yoga teacher, I started looking into my tools and I found out that it was affecting my root chakra. When you feel very
Yeah.
depressed and you feel that you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel, that life is getting very hard, you have to do something. And I started doing Reiki on myself. And
Mhm.
even though Reiki was like a balsam, like an aspirin, I went to look for a professional person who did deep Reiki scanning. And this lady in Jackson Heights gave me a scan, and it was incredible how she lied me down and started going to each chakra and taking note. and
Yeah.
talking about my life and things that happened to me. And I said, how does this lady know about me just by touching, not even touching me, just putting her hand? You know, you
Yeah.
did this happened here, this, that. And you do have like a small, you're losing energy through your root chakra. That's why you feel so down. You feel so
Hmm.
depressed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to heal it through it. It's amazing. So I took hold of that and I started doing more Reiki, more breathing, more yoga, and it helped me recuperate. But I was 2014 was pretty tough. You know,
Yeah.
it was pretty tough. But I got
It,
hold of it using the tools of Reiki, yoga, meditation, breathing exercises. You know, it's hard. It's because it could really suck you in if you don't get a hold of yourself, you know?
yeah. Is it something that you do like on a daily basis, the breathing exercise and meditation?
Meditation, I do every single day. There's
Yeah.
not one day I don't meditate. I do lots of affirmations to control my monkey mind
Yeah.
because sometimes you beat yourself mentally. So I'm always saying, I am the best. I can do it alone. God is with me. You know, I always repeat things positively when I step out the door, when I head to the YMCA to give my in-person classes and trying to always stay in a positive tone because it's easy to fall back and go into negative, thoughts.
Yeah.
Reiki I do occasionally when I feel the body needs to be cleansed, and I use crystals also because we do get contaminated as we meet other people. People have vibrations, and they can be, your chakras lose their calibration, like a
Yeah.
car. You need to tune up the car, or you need to tune up your chakras. Yeah.
And so you do the Reiki on yourself?
Yes, I do the
Okay.
Reiki myself. Hmm.
And so what would be a if someone were watching listening to this podcast or watching what would be a simple meditation that they can start?
Okay. If they're not a meditator, if they haven't practiced meditation, I would first start with some breathing to calm the mind. So
Yeah.
I do this exercise called Anulom Viloma, which is where you close one nostril and you breathe in and out through the left, and then you switch and you breathe in and out through the right. You do this for about 30, 45 seconds. And then you do alternate breathing. I have videos, and you can find videos called Anuloma Viloma. What helps is that this breathing helps balance the oxygen to the brain, and it
Yeah.
calms you down. It calms
Yeah.
you down. So when I do like maybe 5 or 3 minutes of Anulom Vilom, then I sit and I breathe in and out through the nose with my mouth closed and just focus on that flow of the breath going in and up, in through
Yeah.
my nostrils and out. That's what I do. I sometimes use music and background music called binaural sounds. You can find lots of them on YouTube,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
help calm the mind and relax for beginners. Mantras are good, like chanting Om or Om Namah Shivaya. There are many mantras. You got to find which one suits you best. Um, yeah, that's what I would say. Just starting 5 minutes, observing the inward breath. You can also give yourself some self Reiki if they rub their palms together, even if they're not in tune, because to become a Reiki practitioner, you have to be in tune by a Reiki master. So, but we do all have that energy in our hands. So what you got to do is just rub the palms like Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid, and place your hands on each chakra for at least 2 minutes and observe the healing energy. You might even in your mind's eye see the colors of the chakras because each chakra has a color. You got red, you got orange, you got yellow, you got blue, green, and so on. And you place it on each position for a little while. You can use background, and that will really, like, you'll feel very centered and grounded. That helps you.
Oh, that's wonderful. And what is in terms of, the emotional, when you're feeling emotionally overwhelmed, maybe, suffering from anxiety, depression, how important is the diet to help to settle, to get you back to a state of equilibrium? And are there certain foods that you would suggest, or certain foods that you would say it's probably best to stay away from it, at least right now?
You mean when you have like emotional
Yeah,
imbalances or
yeah,
something? Wow, that's really deep, because everybody's different, you know. I know fasting is very good to help you
yeah,
control,
yeah,
fasting, and I could probably do a fasting and just have smoothies or just drink lemon water all day or drink chlorophyll water. Can really help you like cleanse the body. But you have to have willpower because sometimes when we're depressed, we pull out that Haagen-Dazs ice cream and
yeah,
pull up Netflix and eat the whole thing up.
yeah,
And it's just to feel that,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, I'm not a nutritionist, so I'm not really good, but I know what's good and what's bad. And I have a sweet tooth. Oh, I love
yeah,
cake.
yeah,
I'm like a little kid. I could have cakes. I could have Fruit Loops at night, like little kid,
yeah,
old school.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. The I find that when I'm triggered or when I'm feeling, a lot of times with me, it's childhood traumas that get, you're in a relationship and your partner doesn't call you back and you feel like you're gonna die and you wonder, well, why am I
Oh,
feeling this way? You
yes,
intellectually
yes,
you thinking it doesn't make sense, but your body is feeling like, this sense of abandonment.
yes. I know what you mean. It's happened in my life many times. You feel like abandoned. Oh my God, why, And
Yeah.
this is way past when we didn't have cell phones, when we knew where our phone was at a table, at the corner, on the phone booth.
Yeah.
This is way, before we were enslaved with the cell phone, because before we were free.
Yeah. Yeah.
Before cell phones, we were actually free. Now you have a cell phone, it's like part of you. It's more than your family. It falls and you go, oh my God,
Yeah.
baby, or you lose it and you don't know where it is. It's like a pre-heart attack you get, like, oh my God, where's my cell phone? Did I leave it in the car? Did I leave it in the train? Anywhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It is a scary thing. I mean, I think many of us go to the bathroom with the cell phones and you know, I forgot my cell phone once at home and I was going into the city and I was going to an appointment. I was going to turn back and go all the way. I would have been late. And I thought, well, because I was wondering how do you get through a day without your cell phone? You know, like
Yeah, yeah. You don't know how free we were before without the cell phones. And now you have to have it next to you, next to your pillow. You're checking a text, any messages.
yeah,
It's amazing. It's hard. Yeah.
yeah. And that's another thing in terms of when emotional disturbances arise. Um sometimes I find with myself, if I'm constantly on social media, if I'm constantly checking my phone, all the YouTube videos, all the Instagram videos, a lot of time there's a lot of negative content there. And then you start reading the comment
Yes.
section, and the comment section is even worse than the actual video.
Oh,
And I like even recently, I was doing that for months. And then I was triggered and I was triggered by something else, not having to do with that, but I kept wondering, why do I feel so um so attached to my thoughts? There was not a
mm,
lot of space between me and the thoughts, and I couldn't figure it out. And I felt like I was in like this grief. I was just feeling crying and just feeling upset and then something intuitively said, this time right now, do not go on social media. Stay away from the phone. And I started just focusing when I'm doing the dishes, opening the refrigerator, just being in the moment,
you were
feeling
doing mindful meditation, which is
mindful
the correct thing.
meditation.
Yeah.
And it's not that those negative thoughts weren't coming. because they were. It was just now I was like, oh, wait a minute. That's not that's not me. I wasn't so quick. The mind and then how it affects the body, that connection, there was a break in that connection, a little bit of enough space that I could, when it came up again, okay, wait, I know what this is now. I don't have to go with
Uh-huh.
it, you know.
That's great. Do you read Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now? Were you inspired by that by any
Yeah,
chance?
I read
That's some
that
of his
book.
techniques.
Yeah, yeah, years ago I read that, and I actually read first A New Earth, which I know that was his
Oh,
second
that
book.
was after.
And
Yeah,
then I
yeah,
and
The
then I
New Earth.
read and then I went back and read The Power of Now. I think this was like in 2009 or something like that. And I found the book fascinating when he talked about the pain body, and I drew a picture of my pain body, and
Oh,
so
really?
yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I
wow.
named
I
it
should
and
do that.
everything. Yeah,
Yeah, we all have multiple pain bodies. And you know what? Sometimes you have a light, I have a light, we vibrate at a certain frequency. And sometimes our frequency can disturb somebody else's peace
yeah,
and disrupts their demons. And then they don't like you. You know, you
yeah,
feel that they reject you, but it's not our physical, it's at a higher level. Your vibration just disrupts their pain bodies. And they don't know why they don't like you.
yeah,
There are people that vice versa it could be different, just don't like being next to them. They they
yeah,
they get you restless or something, but you don't know why. And it's not about whether they're pretty or they're ugly, they're fat, they're young, or it's something. Hmm.
yeah. It's really interesting because it makes me wonder if when I'm triggered, if that's what's going on as well, that it's a because everything would usually seems fine. And there's just one little thing, and it's like, really,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
really interesting.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you got to watch out for those pain bodies. It's true. And you see lots of homeless people in the street talking to themselves. And you say, oh, they're nuts, they're crazy. They're not crazy. They're just talking out loud to their pain body. We talk internally. We're always talking. I'm sure you have your own conversations. Oh,
Yeah,
what did you do that? Oh, come on. Guys.
yeah,
I'm always constantly talking back and forth to myself. And people in
yeah,
the street talk out loud, but they're doing the same thing we're doing silently. Everybody's always having a chatter inside, that
yeah,
inner chat. Mhm, mhm.
yeah.
But
The
that's
inner,
good that you were able to see the moment an intruder came. You
yeah,
saw, yeah, and you said, "Wait a second, that's not me. Hold on, let me go back." Hey,
yeah.
uh-huh.
And then it becomes a little bit. Then you can laugh at it when you get to a certain. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, uh-huh.
I I see now. So, what role does in your life self-care and self-compassion? How? I mean, do you think those are important qualities, and how can one cultivate these qualities within themselves? Because a lot of us beat ourselves up, beat up on ourselves, and or
Yeah, yeah, mentally and well, I don't know. My self-care started when my first son was born, who's going to be 40, Christian. I always thought when he was born and I saw my first son, I said, wow, I want to reach an elderly age, but I don't want to be decrepit. I don't want to use a walker. I don't want to use a cane. And I started a journey of exercise and being very diligent, disciplined, and committed. And even though I did different types of jobs in South America, where I started to work first, I've always did on the side either kung fu, yoga, tai chi. Each one I started building each one by one, according to my age, because kung fu I started really practicing in the beginning of my 20s. Before that, it was just like a hobby. And then when I reached the 30s, I started thinking about yoga. And then yoga moved to Tai Chi and everything a little bit slower, no more competitive, more fighting the inner enemy inside. And it was like, it went by stages. And I always thought, I want to get old, but I don't want to look old. you know, Aging with attitude, like Senior Planet says. And That's my personal, but it's hard. You have to have willingness because I have friends who are great athletes. I've known them for 30, 40 years, and some have aged, you know, they've gained weight. They're not worried about how much fat they have in their body. They're not exercising. And I wish they were still the athlete I met 30 years ago and how they don't have the power to push themselves,
Yeah.
to cultivate, and I still have that, I think I'll have it till the day I die.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So do you work out like how often do you work out?
I work out almost every single day. I do lots of push-ups.
Yeah.
I've been doing lots of push-ups since the last year. I started a regimen and I do minimum 100 push-ups every day. I read this article where this podcast actually we're talking. They did a test of Harvard Medicine School,
Hmm.
and they said if a man can do 40 consecutive push-ups on one try,
Yeah.
had less probabilities of having heart disease.
Oh, wow.
And I said, wow, that clicked.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can do 40 push-ups consecutively on one try, you have less probabilities of having heart disease or heart issues. So I do more than 40. I can do 60.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm not bulky, but I'm just, normal muscles. I'm not looking to look like Sylvester Stallone or Arnold Schwarzenegger or anything like that. But just stay in shape.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what um when you looking back at your life, what would you say what are you most proud of in terms of, things that in terms of your growth and resilience?
And my growth and my resilience, that I was able to confront different challenges through life. First of all, let me try to kind of resume, try to condense everything that when I left the United States in 1980, the end of 1980, and I moved to South America, I was uh, like a New York Rican, and I reached Venezuela where they speak 100% Spanish. I wasn't such a good Spanish speaker. People looked at me like a foreigner. They thought I was Arab, and you speak weird. They would tell me, and I had to relearn my Spanish in Venezuela. And later on, I got married the first time, and then I got a job working as a maritime agent in a shipping business because Venezuela is very popular for the exporting oil. I worked in the oil industry for like almost 23 years, and I never went to a Hispanic school, but yet I know how to read, write, and I know how to everything. But I never went to school and my school was America,
Yeah.
United States. So I never went to school over there, but I was always able to learn from professional people and copy and paste. I would copy and paste everything that was good, not the
Yeah.
bad things, the good things. And that helped me professionally, in the years I moved from being a dispatcher to a supervisor to a regional manager at good positions. I passed other people that were in this business longer than I am, and they chose me, maybe because of my personality. I don't know. I always had
Yeah.
good relationships with my bosses too.
Mm.
Very two to two, and I
Yeah.
could go to my boss and, can I talk to you? Yeah, sure. Come on, sit down. And he would listen to me, and but that's something, I guess, personality and all that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. And then I started doing yoga because I knew it was a spiritual path, and I continued doing kung fu for self-defense and for physical fitness. And then Tai Chi, when I started reading about the benefits of Tai Chi, which is a movement meditation, I incorporated all that. And then when I returned to the United States and I had all these certifications, it helped me open doors. So I started at the Y. I got my first opportunity at the YMCA.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I like something, I can, if it's challenging. Right now, I'm doing NASM, what's it called? Personal fitness training. I'm still studying to become a CPT,
Hmm.
certified NASM certified exercise instructor. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah,
It's been challenging because they use lots of technical words and uh, yeah, I'm sure I'm gonna pass. Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
So I do these kind of three rapid fire questions, if I could think of all three of them. We're coming towards the end of the podcast. But question number one, if you can go back and speak to your younger self, what would you tell younger Cass?
What would I tell the younger cast? To listen to the universe. The universe talks to you and shows you signs, but you got to know when that sign is for you. And there were times I wish I would have continued a certain thing, and I said, "Damn, I lost the opportunity." And opportunities sometimes don't come twice. That's what I said. Now I'm very mindful of, because like I was waiting for an answer from God, maybe physically, but no, you got to look at a TV commercial, even opening a book, even talking to you, I could get an answer. So
Yeah,
before I just expected some heavenly thing coming up and telling me the answer, no, you got to be open. Everything has an answer for you. You could
yeah,
go out the street and you see a number and wow, that's it. Why am I seeing 444? Why am I seeing 1111 all the time or 2222? What's
yeah,
that? It's not a coincidence.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
be more aware, Cass. Pay more attention.
yeah,
But as a Gemini, I was always easily distracted.
yeah,
Used to talk too much. I used to like to play in school. I remember back in elementary school, I talked so much. My teacher said, "Shut up, Castulo, shut up." And she took a scotch tape and put it on my mouth. She just couldn't take it anymore. And I stayed there like half an hour with the scotch tape on my mouth. Of course,
yeah,
teachers can't do that anymore. And I
no,
didn't dare tell my mom that she did that because I would have gotten a beating for that. And
yeah,
said, why did she have to, she wouldn't have come to talk to the teacher, she would have, finished me off at home for
yeah,
that because I
yeah.
talk too much. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
it,
that would be my answer. Cass, pay attention, look,
Pay
see.
attention.
Yeah,
That's so true. When you're and it takes being present too, just being present because we live in a world where we're all on our devices and there's this instant gratification. We get this constant dopamine hit, you know.
yes.
We
Uh-huh.
look and we scroll and anything we want to look at, and the videos are getting shorter and shorter and shorter, you know.
Yes,
And
yes.
the videos they play in the algorithm to what your tastes are, like what they know you better than you know yourself in some ways. And so it is where our vision is becoming so narrow that we're missing all of the signs,
Yes.
that you're talking about because the signs aren't going to come on the cell phone, most likely. Yeah,
No,
so
no.
that's great advice.
Well, depending, like, for example, I might have a question, an internal question. I haven't talked to nobody. And I open my Facebook and the answer's there.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
But through somebody else. I say, oh wow.
yeah,
Like, don't worry, everything's gonna be fine, or something like that. And I said, oh wow, it's like the cell phone or somehow the universe connects in synchronicity. There's a book by Deepak Chopra called Synchronicity, and it talks about how you can synchronize with the universe and things just click and just
yeah.
engage in time. Yeah. Mhm.
Well, that brings us to the next question. What book has been the most influential in your life?
There's a lot of books. I would say I have like two. It would be first The Power of Now
Hmm.
by Eckhart Tolle.
Yeah,
Because
great book.
I use his audiobook and sometimes I go jogging and I listen to his work. He's very hilarious. He makes me laugh. He's very funny
Yeah.
sometimes. And the autobiography of a yogi by Paramahansa Yogananda.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, because it talks about all the mysteries and all that esoteric stuff. I love all that. I
Yeah.
was raised Catholic. My mom was very strict with me. Go to church every Sunday, every Sunday. I never missed a mass. But every time I went to the mass and I learned it, I said, "There's something more to this. That just
Yeah.
this is not it."
Yeah. Yeah.
I believed in Jesus and all that, but I didn't believe the whole thing. I needed more. There's more to this.
Yeah.
Just to, yeah. This is just the tip of the iceberg. There's more information.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Okay, our last question is let's see, what was our last question? Oh, okay. So, what is a skill that you have or a talent that most people really wouldn't know that you had?
What skill? Wow, that's a good one. Not physically or just when
It
I
could
engage.
be it could be anything. Physically, it could just anything that you're particularly good at, but most people don't really know this about you.
Well, I know how to connect. What I've seen over the past uh 8 years approximately, that I've learned to connect with other people. And one of my special attributes is that I try to learn everybody's name
Yeah.
because people feel special when
Yeah.
you know the name. I don't say, "Hey, you," or "Miss," or "Sir." Or no. Somebody comes to my class and I try to learn everybody's name. And then as we do a class, whether it's boot camp, whether it's yoga, I'm not a joker. I don't know how to tell jokes, but I do have certain humor and I can turn a movement of yoga and say something witty and they will laugh.
Yeah.
I can't think of one right now, but sometimes I say, okay, so this exercise we're gonna do the banana pose. We're gonna work our core to see if we can build up a 4 pack or maybe a
Yeah.
6 pack. And I have 1 pack. I'm happy with one. And they laugh about the 1 pack. So I
Yeah.
throw that in, something like that.
Yeah.
And people love to when you know their names and when they come in and say, "Hey, hi." And the other day, like 2 months ago, somebody came to evaluate my class and at the Y here in Massachusetts. And the girl was very impressed. Her name is Emily. She said, "I was impressed how you knew everybody's name and how you engaged with each person and knew who was who. And there was nobody in how, and they have excellent as the scale of, I exceeded excellent. She
Yeah.
put exceeded because my timing, and I do my homework. I don't, how do you call it? I don't gig my classes. I sit down and do flashcards and I
Yeah.
prepare my classes and I have those flashcards and I follow the flashcard. I might change it around. I'm always doing like these little figures, little tiny
Yeah.
stick figures. These are quick sketches I do.
Oh,
And
wow. Oh, you
yeah,
draw them?
yeah, I draw them. Yeah, I draw
Yeah.
them. Say
Yeah.
the ball. And this is for my reference, what I'm gonna do. So just
That's
to keep me
great.
in, keep me on, keep
Yeah.
me on track. And I do that a lot to prepare classes like this one here. Okay.
Oh, wow.
This is a full class. These are 18 exercises. I draw these and I put the description and the arrows and all that.
Oh,
Mhm.
that's amazing.
Yeah, I don't like to
That's
wing
like
it.
storyboards. That's like doing a
Yeah, yeah,
movie.
little thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I
Wow.
think people come to my classes, my supervisor, wow, people are really engaged. They're gonna miss you because I'm planning to move back to New York City.
Yeah, yeah, you mentioned that. Yeah, when we
Mhm.
spoke on the phone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
And
Kaz, okay,
uh-huh.
go ahead.
No, and I always dedicate my day or my thoughts to. I have a guru, a
Hmm.
spiritual, a holy man from India. His name is Satya Sai Baba. He's inspired me for the past 25 years, and I think he's always like there, inspiring me and telling me what to do, how to answer. And I have him here in front of I always watching him like, and when something turns out really good, I always say thank you. You were like,
Yeah.
yeah,
So,
because I didn't have
yeah.
Satya Sai Baba.
He's the one with the hair with the hair, right? Yeah. You know, that's my teacher's guru.
Oh, really? What teacher?
My teacher is Alan Morla, and that's his guru.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
this is my guru.
yeah,
I've
yeah.
had, if you want, I could tell you experiences I've had with this guru. You would be amazed. I've never met,
Oh,
but he's
y-
been in my life for 25 years, and I've had so much magic with him. It's incredible. It's incredible.
yeah, I hear a lot of people that devotees of his, including my teacher, who met him in India.
Oh,
So,
wow.
he's been a devotee of his for, since he was in his 20s. And he's told me a lot of stories. And Satya Sai Baba, I learned the Gayatri mantra listening to his recording.
Oh,
Yeah, so
great.
because I was trying to learn it, and I asked my teacher to teach me, and he said, "No, listen to this YouTube, you do what he's saying, and that's all you need." And
I've been
so,
chanting Gayatri Mantra since 1999. Yes.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
Om Bhurбhuvat Swaha Tat
Yeah,
Savitu.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I could, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, the guru that led me to my teacher, or the one that sort of initiated me into this sort of spiritual work that I started to do in years ago, was Ramana Maharshi, who is obviously not
Oh,
around anymore, but his
yeah.
teachings
Ramani
and his
Maharashi.
spirit.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, like I told you, and before I know we're kind of short, my mom was always Catholic, but she was a Catholic, but very open. She would be open to reading other books because she used to like to read Gnostic and
Hmm.
esoteric things. And when I started following Satya Sai Baba in 1999, and around the year 2001, I got a book that was comparing Jesus and Sai Baba and how they were very parallel
Yeah.
in the teaching. So, one day I arrived to work. It was early morning. This is in Venezuela. She calls me up and she says, I had this, I had to call you to tell you what happened last night. She lived by herself. And she tells me, um, I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning and I see this light in my room. And I start opening my, I can't really see. I see three men standing there. And in the middle was Satya Sai Baba. I said, what? I said,
Wow.
yes, Satya Sai Baba. And I said, how do you know it was him? And I said, well, I saw the afro. He's got a big afro. And there were two other people I couldn't see. There's too much light. He was standing there in his orange robe. And I said, wow. And what did you do? What did he say? He said, no, no, we just looked at each other. And then I closed my eyes, I fell asleep. And when I woke up again, he wasn't there. I said, what does that mean? She tells me, you're the devotee, you're the follower. Why is he coming to my house? And I
Yeah.
said, well, you believe in God, and that's enough.
Hmm.
All you have to do is believe in God, whether it's his form, Jesus, Muhammad, Buddha, whatever. You
Yeah.
believe in God. There's only
Yeah.
one God, and he's omnipresent, he's omniscient.
Yeah.
So, and my mom never ever saw ghosts or hallucinations, or she was on any drugs that you could say, oh, it was a drug effect. No, she was very healthy.
Yeah.
So I believed her. I
Yeah.
truly believed her. And
Yes.
she had that darshan. That's what they call a darshan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Spiritual man comes and gave her a blessing. I guess he wanted me to know that he was there. He's present,
Yeah.
in our life. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had some experiences where Ramana Maharshi that was
Oh,
just,
really?
yeah, I had some very quickly, because I know we're getting to the, but I had I had some I never did a Kundalini yoga or anything like that, but I was doing self-inquiry, which is one of the teachings that Ramana Maharshi
Who am
teaches.
I? Who
Who
am
am I?
I?
Yeah. And and I was meditating a lot and doing this, and then one day I'm laying down in this rush of energy. I thought I was gonna die. Came from my feet all the way up, like it felt like a train was rumbling through my body, like a freight train,
Wow.
and lifting. I felt myself just, I thought I was gonna explode, because it felt like a voltage that I couldn't take. And it just, and I would tell my teacher, and it went on for, well, that experience went on for, I forget how long that night, but that energy kept coming through at different times.
That's
And
Kundalini. That was a Kundalini energy.
yeah, it was Kundalini. My teacher tried to, I would talk to him about it, and he would say, oh, just he would try to get my mind off of it, because he would see that it also plays into the, your ego could get captured by this, oh my gosh, it's a Kundalini, like, this sort of thing. So he would say, okay, okay, just observe it. Don't worry about it. It's doing what it has to do. It has its own intelligence and
Yes,
things of
yes.
that nature. But during that time, I had this um first this energy came up, and this ringing in the ears, like this frequency, and then white, and then I was at this place with Ramana Maharshi, and you know
Wow. Out of body experience then.
it was amazing. I was looking at him, and usually when I look at people, I feel a little bit self-conscious. That's just how I am. I feel a little, I wonder what they're thinking about me. But when I looked into his eyes, it was like I was looking at myself, but not the identity self, just the pure self,
The self.
without any of the conditioning and all of these insecure, and it was just love. And so I looked at him, and he was showing me how to play an instrument, and there were other people around, and I thought, I'm taking up too much of his time. But he was telling me, no, you have all the time you need. There was no time or anything. And it was such a profound dream, that
Wow.
experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was a true experience by what you
Yeah.
taught.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
Yeah.
another dimension,
Yeah.
you had it.
Yeah. I say dream because I don't know what to call, but it wasn't a dream because it was, it takes you to this different place that feels more real than,
Mhm. Yeah, 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 yeah. I
that,
know.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's something like what you see in the Matrix.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what is real? This is real or what? What's
Yeah,
real, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, wow. I'm glad I mentioned my guru. Wow, I don't know that you knew also about
Oh
him and
yeah,
all.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah,
that's great.
yeah.
Yes. So we're coming up to the end of the is there anything that um we didn't get to touch on that you feel like you wanted to talk about?
Mm, well, I would say that on a daily basis, also after the COVID, we have to laugh a lot. Laughing heals the body.
Yeah,
And every single day I try to find something that stand-up comedian, even if they say foul language or old TV shows, and just watch something that can make you get a laughter. Laughter it also helps you heal the
yeah,
body. Yeah, I would say that. And I apply that every single day. My wife could say that I'm always watching old TV series and I just watch them even then it just makes me crack up and
yeah,
I need to laugh. I need to laugh because sometimes we're very uptight. The body gets tense. Paying no attention like you're doing, not looking at the social media, especially with the problems between the countries, Russia, China, the United States. It can really stress you out. So I just turned the page. I try to ignore what could, and why am I going to stress myself about something I don't know what's going to really happen? We just got to pray and send good vibes to our planet. That's all, you know.
yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's such a good point. Laughter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Laughter therapy. You can read about it. It can
yeah,
really help
yeah,
laugh, get a good hearty laugh, ha ha ha.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we do tend to take ourselves too seriously at time, and everything is, but life is short, and
Yes.
why not enjoy it?
Yeah, yeah. I always say the words of the Beatles, life is very short for fussing and fighting, my friend,
Yeah.
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 Life is very short and there's no time for fussing and fighting. So
Yeah.
just enjoy it, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Cas. It
No,
was a
it's been
pleasure.
great. It's been
Yeah.
great. Thank you. I like the whole conversation. What sign are you, Ade?
Virgo.
Oh, that's right. You told me Virgo. That's right. Yeah.
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 Yeah. It was nice getting to know you and meeting with you today. And yeah, thank you to our viewers. And if you like the content, please like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram and Spotify. Again, I'm here with Cas Castulo Castro,
AKA
and
Cass.
yeah, aka Cas.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and
Okay.
take care.